Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Lake Willis. You might be thinking, where on earth is everything? I'm just gonna come out and say this right now. I have decided to fully restart Lake Willis, and the reasoning for that was the old Lake Willis. It just wasn't. It didn't look good. I didn't really like the looks of it, and it was just, too much work to go and change everything. So I just thought, you know what, let's just restart Lake Willis. And what I'm actually going to do, because I actually do like some of the stuff that was in the old Lake Willis, especially the dive coaster, not the theming of the dive coaster, just the dive coaster, I am going to bring that over to this new Lake Willis because I really like that and I want to keep that. But yeah, so today we're doing the entrance. We're going to do this park normally. We're not going to start off with a coaster. However, you might have already seen a coaster in the background there. Oh god. But yeah, so we are going to start off with the park entrance. Now this park entrance, my park entrances in the past haven't been the best. I'm not really that good at park entrances, but what I did for this one, it's kind of a mashup of 3 entrances I think I researched. And obviously the one that you're thinking of right now is Universal's entrance, and that's what it looks like at the moment, of course. But no, this entrance is going to turn out to be a mashup of Universal's entrance, the Orlando one, not the Hollywood one. Hollywood one is white, I think. And then Magic Kingdom's entrance, it's going to be a mashup of that, and also Thorpe Park's entrance, just without the massive LED screen. Although I'm thinking about maybe putting some sort of LED screen to advertise the park like Thorpe Park do. But yes, so we are starting this new park. I'm really happy with how this entrance turned out. And what else was I? I was going to say something else. And yeah, the reason there wasn't any cinematics at the start of the episode was because there was no point for it. There wasn't. It's just an entrance structure. You can't really make a cinematic out of that, now can you? But yeah, hopefully you guys like this entrance, and of course if you think I've done anything wrong with this entrance by the end of the video, please put some suggestions down in the comments and I might consider them. But yeah, now this is the first ever time I think I've made a full-on structure, a proper building structure, not something like Big Bob, without using any gridded pieces whatsoever. The only gridded piece is that little roof tile at the end, and that's just there so it makes it a building. That's basically all that does. But yeah, this is the first time I've not used any gridded pieces on a building at all, which is crazy actually. And yeah, so all this is little tiny pieces, and those window pieces I used to make that arch right there, it's really good actually. You know, window pieces wouldn't necessarily be the first thing you think of when you think of a wall. When you think of a window, you think of a window, but then if you just turn that window round, it can become a wall. Yes, that is Planet Coaster logic. And here, I'm actually starting some sort of dome structure, really. I think what I wanted I didn't want it to be a fully spherical dome like Silverette does. Silverette's domes, he's amazing at domes. I don't know how he does them, but yeah, I wanted it to be this sort of shape that you're actually seeing right now. Trying out a few spires. This was from the Ghostbusters pack. Well, I say recently released because I haven't actually commentated on it properly. But yeah, luckily though, Frontier did send me out a key for this Ghostbusters pack, so thank you Frontier for that, so I can actually put some pieces from the Ghostbusters pack in. I just hit my desk in the park. But yeah, now here we're starting the roof tiles. Now these are of course for everyone, these are the go-to pieces if you want a custom roof. Everyone uses these tiny little roof tile pieces, and they can be a pain, especially on a sort of shape like this. They can be a right pain in the backside. But yeah, you might sorry, I lost my train of thought at first and it's just skipped. never mind. I was gonna say, at first you might see that I've just put it vertical and I've put it on angle snap, and it didn't really look nice, so I actually went back over it and turned off the angle snap and tried to get it like a smooth curve up. Like you're seeing there, it's now like a smooth curve. So moving on to this next clip, it's just gone to, probably because, you know, I think that roof tile piece took about 40 minutes to do, and yeah, you don't want to see a whole 40 minutes of that, do you? Well, it would be 40 minutes sped up, of course. But yeah, here you're actually seeing some stuff that is based on Magic Kingdom's entrance, because of course Magic Kingdom's entrance, you got that roof, and then in the middle of that like slanted roof sort of thing, Bob, you got the clock, and that's what I'm doing here. It's not look exactly like Magic Kingdom's entrance, but it's gonna look very close to it, really. And yeah, funnily enough, I never use the art shapes because I just don't like them. They're too clean, they're too cartoony for me, but in this case the art shapes actually worked out as the best piece to use. That is quite peculiar because I hate the art shapes. You know, they're useful sometimes, but they just look too cartoony. They don't look realistic enough for my liking, really. So yeah, just making this like a separate roof so I can put it on the other pieces of wood, if that makes sense, you know, much more easily. You can see there, you know, and this is why I say those roof tile pieces are actually quite, you know, tricky to use, because you see those gaps that were forming there. You need to fill up those gaps. So if you're doing it in a shape like this, you know, those gaps can appear wherever. And so I think, yeah, I think I'm doing it here is what I actually did on Wicker Man. If you remember the pre-show episode from Wicker Man where I made the pre-show building, actually I did this exact thing where, because the roof tiles had the gaps in them, I actually got the wooden column pieces that were on the sides and just extended them a little just to fill in those gaps. And yeah, that's basically what I did on Wicker Man as well. On the topic of Wicker Man, let's talk about recreations, and more specifically Nemesis. I actually haven't had a lot of time in Planet Coaster over the past couple of weeks, as you probably noticed from the lack of videos. I've decided against doing Nemesis this week. I'm not going to be working on Nemesis, and that's mainly because I'll be at Towers next weekend, and when I'm there, I'm planning to get a lot of pictures of Nemesis, stuff that isn't on Google Images or Google Street View, and it'll just make it a lot easier for me to do the Nemesis recreation. So I'm waiting on Towers trip next week to take those pictures, and once I've got those pictures I can get back to work on Nemesis. So yeah, if you are missing Nemesis, then that is the reason why. But yeah, here you'll see me use Fog's tiny font pieces. These are absolutely amazing. However, they do put the piece count up quite a bit. So you got a win and a loss there. You know, they look great, but the piece count goes up. And that is the worst thing about Planet Coaster, really, is that you want to add all this detail into your structures, but then the more detail you add, the more the piece count goes up. And that's a problem, because even on extremely high-end PCs, the piece count can really, you know, affect the FPS. And I think, Wicker Man has 60,000 pieces, and a few people have told me that when they try to load up the park, it crashes. And if you are one of those people that downloaded Wicker Man and have tried to open the park but it's crashed, I'm sorry for that. Unfortunately, it happened. Wicker Man's piece count is very, very high, and thus, yeah. So I am sorry if Wicker Man crashes on you, but it's, you know, it's Frontier's game. There's not a lot I can do about that, and the piece count was necessary, to be honest, to have all that detail in. But yeah, and I think another thing I haven't told you yet is, well, I don't actually want to admit this, but Nemesis's piece count is already really high. Yeah, I haven't actually done a lot on there, and it's mainly because of that cobblestone wall I did in the last episode of Nemesis. But yeah, the piece count on that is already quite high. It's at 3,000 already, and I've only done a tiny little bit of scenery. But anyway, it's probably going to have a bigger piece count than Wicker Man. here you're starting. That did not make sense. Here you're seeing me start. Sorry. Sort of the turnstile area. You know, that big arch in the middle with the clock. That's going to be the exit. I think that's like Walt Disney Studios in Paris, where you've got the turnstiles to either side, and then at the end of the day they open the big gates in the middle for the exit. I think that's how it works at Walt Disney Studios. But yeah, so this is basically what I'm doing. This small part off to the side, and there's going to be another one of these on the other side, and that's going to be the turnstiles, and then that big arch in the middle with the gate. They're going to open that gate at the end of the day, and that's where guests will come out. Unfortunately, you can't do that in Planet Coaster. It would be amazing if you could do that and like have one-way paths, so you can make guests enter a park one way, but then they have to leave the park another way. That would be really, really cool, but unfortunately, it's not in the game. But yeah, this side part was mainly simple to do, to be honest. It wasn't as complex as the main arch tower sort of structure thing, mabob, I don't really know what to call it. It just had the basic pieces that I've used in the past, you know, the spooky haunted house roof that's not gridded for some reason. I'm actually quite pleased that's not a gridded piece, because it does come in handy quite a bit, and I feel like if it was a gridded piece, that would be taking away a lot of creativity. But yeah, so here you're actually seeing the Thorpe Park side of the entrance, because Thorpe Park's entrance, if you can actually see a Thorpe Park's entrance, because there's a massive screen in the way, but if they take down that screen like it used to be, you know, you got that central tower, then these two sort of smaller towers off to the side, and that's what Thorpe Park's entrance kind of is. And here you're seeing more of the Magic Kingdom style entrance, with these slanted sort of wall bit that I'm actually going to start in a minute. Just waiting for me to start. There we go. Of course, those of you who know Magic Kingdom's entrance, it has these slanted wall sort of things that get smaller as they go up. Don't know what to call them, but you know, they're there. They are there. I promise you, they're there in real life. I was looking at a Google image earlier today to actually do it, and if this video does go up on Saturday, yeah, I was doing this earlier today in the morning, and yeah, I just needed to get a video out as quickly as possible, because I have been away for quite a while. Anyway, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about this. This is something else that bugs me about Planet Coaster, is that when you place down the same piece to make sort of a full, like, I don't know how to explain it. So if you place down multiple pieces of the same piece to make one structure, it kind of looks horrible, because what happens is the patterns, like the patterns on those pieces, the textures, sorry, they're called the textures, they repeat, and it kind of looks horrible. And then when you try to vary it, like maybe move it around a little, rotate it, like those wooden column pieces that I just highlighted right there and it's moving around, they've only got 2 textures, and it's quite annoying really. I'd much prefer them to have, you know, 4 different textures for the 4 different sides, so we can have, you know, more of a variety into like one main structure, so it doesn't look like a repeated piece over and over again. And yeah, it just kind of looks a bit odd, if you get me. This actually took me a while to do, I think. I was debating what piece to actually use for the part that goes on top. Like, the walls go in a bit, and then it's more of a flat main roof, and I thought these pieces were actually kind of good. But then, I think, yeah, right here is where I discovered, hang on, no, these pieces aren't going to work. And so eventually, like I said earlier in the video, it turns out that once again the art shapes were the best piece to use. See, I just hate that, because I generally do hate the art pieces. I don't like them, but in this case, sure, I like them. And yeah, really, what else was I going to say? I don't know. But yeah, this is basically the rest of the video, to be honest. It's just going to be this exact same thing, but on the other side of the structure. So I think I might leave you now. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the time lapse, and you know, thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions for this restarted Lake Willis, the brand new Lake Willis, or any suggestions for this entrance building particularly, put them down in the comments below. Other than that, I'll see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.